We're rolling. Yeah. Here we are at Michael's.
Older and older together, here we are.
Michael's Gallery in Oakland on Alcatraz. Mica, what is it called?
It's called Michael D. Cookenham's Mica Art Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be good.
Well, close.
Okay. Michael D. Cook. You can edit this, right?
Yeah.
Michael D. Cookenham's Mica Art Gallery, named after the material.
Yeah, the mica here. In case anybody watching this tape doesn't know what mica is.
There's Mica.
That's mica, and that's
there's
Michael.
dropping on Mica.
So that's what that is. Here's another piece of it. This is really gorgeous.
Yes, indeed.
That stuff can cause cancer too. If you breathe it.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, so closed Sunday.
Closed Sunday.
Yeah, got booted out, right?
Got evicted by my friend Julie.
Yeah, woman around the corner here.
Around the corner. Yeah.
Well,
stick it to old Mike.
I'm supposed to be the cameraman, and you're supposed to be the interviewer.
No.
But now you're the interviewee, so you're gonna have to ask your own questions.
You're gonna have about, out of all this material, you're gonna have about 3 seconds of viable material. Okay, asking myself my own question. How did I get into this?
That's what was my question.
You mean, well, the way I got into the gallery. The gallery, not art. The gallery was because my friend Julie offered it to me. She was going to use this for storage or whatever, and she offered it to me, and I came in and I looked at the space, and I really liked this little space. It was very, had some good feng shui, good juju, something. It was really nice about it. This big window out on the street, and it had, for a little dark space, it was pretty light, and I thought, also I was worried, as all artists are always worried about getting kicked out of their studios. So I thought, here's a way of having a place to paint and do some printing if I wanted to.
You have another studio someplace.
I have another studio.
Which is another story we'll talk about.
We'll talk about that later. But I've been evicted from that too. God damn it. So anyway, I took it. Very reasonable rent. And paid to a friend of mine, so I thought I was helping them out, and I did the gallery, and I've had the gallery about 2 years. And I fixed it up, and a friend, Florence Gray, put an enormous amount of energy.
You painted it?
She painted it.
What about the floors?
Beautiful bathroom. I worked on the floors a little bit. We collaborated to get this to a really nice space. It's all painted and nice now. It's much better looking than when it started off.
Yeah, it's a nice little space. Of course, we saw the video from 4, which was the grand opening closing scene of the space and people, and it's a great little space. I definitely have to agree with you. It's got good moxie.
Vibe, man. Good vibes. And so I actually, it was not the only opening. I had a couple of show openings, but it was the major kind of opening to more of a public deal. I used a part of my mailing list, and the other opening I used a very small part. It was basically people who had bought my work or I thought would be interested in spending some money on art and would be interested in coming to that opening. And that opening I had about a year and a half ago.
Was that the one where you had the big piece hanging in the window?
Yeah. I used to hang paintings in the window, and I got a lot of phone calls about those, because one of the things that I actually liked is that that people would slip notes under the door and greet me in the street, and we're really happy to see the changing windows I made and look in and see the art on the walls. That it was a really nice thing for them, and I get calls once in a while from people who commuted this route that would spot paintings and spot the work and be interested in how much they cost, and at least were complimentary towards seeing the art in the window.
Yeah, well, it kind of exposed the neighborhood to a little different what, what's the right word I'm searching for?
Better stuff.
Well, but yeah, art. I mean, just plain.
Trying to make a little art thing happen here. Not
Yeah.
not chintzy, it's not a junk store. It's going back to be, I guess, a junk store or an antique store. So
Yeah.
that's the norm. But I thought, and the idea of having a little guerrilla gallery was had always been in my mind. I may try to do it again. I like the idea. The actual business part, I'm not terrifically good at business.
Well, it's difficult for a person to run a gallery because it's so expensive to maintain the space and employ people. And you're really a busy guy. You're teaching.
I have a lot of fires
you're doing
in the
your
iron.
art. You've got all kinds of things going, and so you really couldn't be here all the time for what, a dozen people walking in.
Yeah, there's no
Maybe a sale
foot
a month.
traffic. This is a very bad neighborhood for foot traffic.
Lots of vehicle traffic.
Yeah, lots of vehicle traffic, and I thought I could develop it based on mailing lists and stuff, but it's very hard also to be in the position, because a bunch of my work is in here, so it's very hard to be in a position of inviting your friends and your mentors or people, patrons, in and try to convince them to buy more artwork, or not convince them, but just present it to them in the hopes that they will then produce, because my ego is such that it doesn't bother me. I'm so used to being rejected that it doesn't bother me that they don't buy the work, except, a few times it is bothersome on the other hand, because you're trying to support the costs of this place. And I eventually, the way I solved that problem was I took on one of my students and let her rent the loft space upstairs that I intended to develop by putting a nice stairway in here and let people go up there. But
as a studio space to work in.
She worked there as a studio space, and that paid helped support the gallery rent. So that was just another idea. But one of my favorite ideas was, in the old days, there was a very famous artist, underground artist named Wally Berman. And Wally Berman had...
I know that name.
You know that name?
Yeah.
Okay. Quite wonderful, and managed to stay true, and very interesting stuff. And he had a production called Semina, a little paper production with a folder with poems in it. And this was in the 60s, early 60s, I believe, late 50s, early 60s. And he had a show on the boardwalk at Larkspur in the old days, when a lot of the places were wrecked, and they were just kind of old ruins,
wrecked.
Yeah, like houseboats or arcs, but the roof was gone, or it was a funky.
Where was this again?
The walkway at Larkspur.
Larkspur, yeah.
Larkspur Landing, not where they call Larkspur now, but right where the ferry boat comes in Larkspur.
Right,
there was
that
a pier.
little set of shops that are in there.
No. It's a pier. It goes out into the bay.
There was.
It's on the marsh. There still is. It's there now.
Oh.
If you look, when you drive over, you'll see a bunch of houseboats and arcs over to your right off 101 on the east side.
Oh yeah, right along the
Right, it's now fancier. Right, yeah. Well, in the old days, that was very funky, like Sausalito was funky. And here he mounted this show in this arc that had no roof. He put the artwork in there, and he had it open for people to come and look at. I thought it was just a fabulous idea that they would make a show wherever they could. I mean, that's what they had, so that's where they showed the work. And if you see pictures of it, it's very funky, and then there's these beautiful little pieces on this wall, right? So anyway, that was a kind of a model for this place, or for me, because I thought, it'd be cool to do something like that. So anyway, but it didn't work out. It worked out as for what it was, and the positive part about it was that it did exactly, in some ways, what it was supposed to do. And I got a few sales for some other people that had Chuck Squire, who's a great, really great printmaker, has a great hand, and sold some stuff for him. So
he's local, right?
He's a local guy, yeah. He's working, I think, as a contractor